He didn't walk in through the front door, nor did he announce himself. He didn't even take off the hoodie. San Diego Comic-Con Divi Tukstoshi Seshpad Schmidt. Henry Cavill slipped into the crowd at San Diego Comic-Con 2016 like just another fan who got lucky with a badge. Baseball cap pulled low, head down, hands in pockets. The kind of disguise that only works if you believe no one would ever expect him to do something like this. And for a moment, it worked. He stood there surrounded by people buzzing about DC, movies, theories, costumes, fans speculating loudly about Superman while Superman himself was standing right next to them. Nobody noticed. Nobody looked twice. The Clark Kent myth was alive and well. Then Henry smiled. Because he wasn't just there to observe. He was there to hijack. When the Suicide Squad panel kicked off, nobody expected what came next. The cast didn't just crash it. They ambushed it. Will Smith, Margot Robbie. The entire crew stormed the stage mid-panel, blowing up the room in pure chaos. And right in the middle of it all was Henry Cavill, finally revealed, laughing like a kid who just pulled off the ultimate prank. The reaction? Nuclear. Fans screamed. Phones flew into the air, grown adults forgot how to breathe, and Henry just stood there grinning, knowing he'd won Comic-Con without saying a word. Deadshot might outgun Superman on screen, but in that moment, Henry owned the room. But that wasn't a one-off, because Henry Cavill has a habit of doing the unthinkable, showing up where he's not supposed to be, blending in when he shouldn't, and catching people at their most unguarded. Like Times Square. Standing beneath a massive billboard of himself promoting Batman vs. Superman, Henry decided to test a theory fans had joked about for decades. Does the Clark Kent disguise actually work? No glasses, no suit, no theatrics. Just Henry Cavill leaning casually under his own face, watching tourists walk by. And nobody noticed. People took selfies with the billboard. Kids pointed at Superman in the sky. Tourists walked right past the man playing him. It was surreal. The irony was almost cruel. The most recognizable superhero on Earth reduced to just another tall guy in New York. Only later, when the footage dropped, did fans collectively lose their minds. How did we miss him? That's the magic of Henry Cavill. He doesn't force the moment. He lets it happen. And when he wants a real reaction, when he wants something raw, he knows exactly where to go. Asia. Henry Cavill in Asia. During an Argyle press event, Henry spotted a fan in the crowd who looked like he'd already won the lottery just by being in the same room. Before security could blink, Henry walked straight over. No warning, no build-up, just Henry Cavill standing right in front of him. The fan froze, hands shaking, eyes glassy. You could see his heart trying to escape his chest. He laughed, cried, and nearly short-circuited all at once. It wasn't staged. It wasn't rehearsed. It was pure shock. That's when you realize something important. Henry doesn't just tolerate fans. He meets them where they are. Even fellow superheroes aren't safe. Simu Liu found that out the hard way. Simu Liu meeting Henry Cavill. Before Shang-Chi was a global hit, Simu spotted Henry at a restaurant and worked up the courage to introduce himself like any fan would. Nervous, respectful, fully expecting a polite handshake and a nice to meet you. Instead, Henry wrapped him in a full bear hug. Dude, of course I know who you are. Not only that, Henry introduced Simu to everyone at the table, welcomed him like family. And when the night ended, paid the entire bill without saying a word. Simu didn't find out until the waiter casually dropped it like it was nothing. That wasn't Superman energy. That was Big Brother energy. And it hits everyone the same. Men, women, celebrities, supermodels. Henry Cavill at 2018 GQ Awards. At the 2018 GQ Awards, Irina Shayk, someone who regularly stands next to A-list royalty, completely forgot how to function when Henry unexpectedly joined her on stage. The confidence cracked, the composure slipped. The smile gave everything away. You could practically hear her inner monologue screaming, "Play it cool, play it cool." She didn't. Nobody does. Henry Cavill in West Hollywood. Especially not random fans in West Hollywood, where Henry casually walked into a group of women and turned the atmosphere electric in under 3 seconds. The energy shifted instantly, laughter got louder, poses got closer, the thirst was real. And Henry, calm, polite, respectful, completely unbothered. That's the thing. He never leans into the chaos. He diffuses it. But when he finally stepped out publicly with Natalie Viscuso on his arm, the internet still exploded. Not because he had a partner, but because suddenly everything felt real. The fandom went from fantasy to reality overnight. And when rumors of pregnancy followed, total meltdown. By 2025, it was confirmed. Henry Cavill, Superman, Geralt of Rivia, the internet's collective crush, was officially a dad. And somehow nobody was surprised, because the signs were always there. Make-A-Wish visits. Kids lighting up when he showed up in full Superman gear, kneeling down to their level, taking time, listening, letting them feel like they were the heroes. That's not PR, that's instinct. Korean fans saw it too. During promotions, even with megastars like Tom Cruise in the room, attention drifted inevitably toward Henry. Reactions were louder, smiles wider, emotions harder to contain. One fan nearly cried on the spot. And then came the moment fans didn't expect at all. At Netflix's Tudum event, standing with his Witcher cast, Henry let his guard drop. No armor, no bravado. "I'm going to miss you." That was it. Simple, honest, and devastating. Millions of fans felt it in real time. The tough, unshakable Geralt finally cracked, and nobody looked away. Because those are the moments that stick. Not the suits, not the roles, not the fame, the surprises, the quiet ones, the human ones. The moments where Henry Cavill doesn't feel like a star walking among fans, but a guy who understands exactly how much those moments mean. And he keeps showing up anyway. And just when you think you've seen every version of Henry Cavill, the prankster, the heartthrob, the gentle giant, he flips the script again, this time with kids. Henry Cavill at a wildlife park. During a visit to a wildlife park, Henry decided to settle one of the oldest internet wars the only way that actually matters, by asking children. No Twitter threads, no comment sections, just pure, unfiltered honesty. Superman or Batman? Most kids didn't hesitate. Superman. Of course. He smiles. He flies. He saves people. Easy win. Henry nodded along, clearly enjoying the validation. But then one kid leaned in with a look that suggested he'd seen things. Dark things. "I kind of like the villain." Henry paused. Actually paused. Eyebrows up. Genuinely impressed. Because how do you counter that? You don't. You respect it. He laughed, gave the kid his moment, and walked away knowing, somehow, he'd just been surprised by a child. Which honestly tracks. Because if anyone can throw Henry Cavill off his game, it's kids and fellow superheroes. Enter Jason Momoa. At a red carpet event, surrounded by cameras, handlers, and industry polish, Henry was doing what he always does, standing tall, composed, unshakable. Superman posture fully engaged. And then Aquaman attacked. Out of nowhere, Momoa jumped him in a full-force, chaotic tackle that instantly turned a polished red carpet moment into a WWE audition. Henry did not see it coming. Not even a little. The photos are priceless, half shock, half laughter, pure brotherly chaos. It didn't look like a fight. It looked like love. That's the pattern. Every time Henry is caught off guard, the moment turns warm instead of awkward, joy instead of ego, connection instead of control. And nowhere is that clearer than with his family. One of the most quietly legendary Henry Cavill stories doesn't involve a movie set, a red carpet, or a screaming crowd. It involves a classroom. Henry goes to school. His nephew Thomas went to school telling everyone his uncle was Superman. Naturally, the teacher didn't buy it. Kids lie. Kids exaggerate. Kids have big imaginations. So Thomas got in trouble. When Henry's sister-in-law was called in, the teacher gently explained that lying wasn't encouraged and maybe Thomas shouldn't say things that weren't true. And then came the sentence that changed everything. "His uncle is Superman." The teacher laughed. She stopped laughing when she realized it wasn't a joke. Cue Henry showing up. Cue disbelief. Cue one very quiet classroom. And one little kid who instantly became a legend for the rest of his school career. No press release, no viral stunt, just family pride and a surprise that probably still gets talked about at reunions. That's the through line in all of this. Henry Cavill doesn't chase reactions. He creates moments. The kind people remember forever, the kind fans tell their friends about years later, still getting goosebumps. Is it because he's genuinely kind? Or because he understands how powerful those moments are? Honestly, it doesn't matter. And that's why, in a world obsessed with image, Henry Cavill's most emotional moments don't come from what he plays. They come from who he chooses to be when no one expects anything at all, which honestly might be the most heroic thing he's ever done.